Okay, welcome, Cassandra. I'm so happy to be here with you. Welcome, everyone who's watching this. My name's Diana. I am on the Moms Rising Early Learning team, and I'm here today to chat with Cassandra Brooks, who is a childcare provider based in North Carolina. So welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
So I'm very excited to chat because you are fabulous. And before we chat about your work and your advocacy, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a mom of 4 children, including a set of twins. My daughter has received speech therapy, so I'm very familiar with, just parenting with special needs and trying to help my daughter. I also operate 2 5-star childcare facilities in North Carolina, and I've been big on pushing for teachers' wages and increasing teacher health care. We have lost teachers before the pandemic, and now we're at the pandemic because of the lack of health care. And so I really believe that we need to help those teachers. I also believe in helping families. I know that families are struggling a lot right now. I'm thankful to the American Rescue Plan that will help a lot of families. I've seen families struggling, with homelessness, food insecurity, and things like that. So I want to be able to just provide and help families so that they can directly impact their children's life. They are shaped at an early age. And so we want to provide the best for them so that we can have good outcomes as they grow older.
That's the whole interview, people. You said everything. I have nothing to ask you. No, I'm kidding. Everything you do is wonderful. And we wanted to chat with you because you are a mom and you are a childcare provider. So you have that perspective of both sides, right?
Yes.
And you're doing this advocacy work, which, is so critically important, especially, it was important before COVID, it's especially important now. As you said, so many working families are struggling. Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit about your experience as a childcare provider and what the struggles are in that space, especially right now with COVID.
Yes, definitely. It has been a struggle since COVID. I think back to, we're at a year right now. And initially I thought that this was going to be very short, 6 to 8 weeks, and we would be back on track. And, I was thinking, okay, we can knock this out. We can get past, that and, encourage my teachers and my families. But we're a year into it. And so I'm just thankful that my teachers have still come to work every day, even though they're risking their lives because they're not able to social distance in childcare because we have to meet the needs of the babies. We have to feed the babies. You have to get close to them. They don't wear masks, but they still come to work to provide that service. We provide service to essential workers. Most of my families work at the gas stations, the grocery stores, they're firefighters, CNAs, taking care of people's loved ones in rest homes. We really, have done a lot since the pandemic. I thought the other day, I was like, gosh, we never stopped. Like we just kept going, just kept moving and never stopped. When the whole world shut off, childcare kept going. And so just thankful to my teachers for that. Some of them did contract COVID during this time, their families. I've had children who at the center who have contracted COVID as well. But I'm thankful that, everybody has recovered and recovered well. We're moving into vaccines to try to help everyone. And also, when I look at it from a family perspective, I've seen families struggle during this time. I have a family now living in the hotel because they lost their job during COVID. So we're just trying to, help the family find housing and different things like that. And as I think, what else can we do to help families? We can teach. I want to be able to teach them, about credit scores and, how to improve your credit scores, how to coupon and save, just different things that will help them for the rest of their lives so that they can be beneficial to their children and their children can, have the things that they need. And so it has really been a journey, to say the least. I'm thankful though that hopefully as the American Rescue Plan has come into play and the states are going to begin to shuffle that money down, et cetera, and they've already begun to send that money down to families, that we'll be able to see some of the true help that's needed for families to get back on track. As a provider, I'm caught in the middle because I see from one perspective, I have friends who started childcare with me and they are no longer in business. They could not survive. Their business just could not survive. And, then my heart aches for them. And these are people that should be in childcare, that are needed in childcare. They have masters in education. They can really benefit children and families. Yet the pandemic really hit businesses, small businesses, especially very hard, and they're no longer in business. And I also see, I see the issues with the teachers. They make low wages. They're still on welfare, if you will, to help them, with food and housing. They just don't make enough, yet they work very hard. They educate children similar to the K-12 teachers, yet they do not get paid nearly as, not even half of what K-12 teachers make. Yet my teachers still have degrees in early childhood. They have bachelor's and associate's degrees. I have teachers on my team who have masters in education. And I just really, believe that they should have the opportunity and they should deserve and earn a worthy wage, because that's, they're doing the work. They have the education. Also, and then I see it on the other side, the parents who are struggling and, what else can I do to help them? What else can I do? Trying to help this mom who is staying in the hotel with her children, a little, studio hotel, so what else can I do to help them?
So you said so much that I want to expand on, but so first thing you said that I want to touch on is the fact that you are always thinking of the families and how to support them kind of holistically, right? And I've been part of discussions with childcare providers where they say exactly what you're saying, which is you're not only caring for the child, you also are helping the parents, especially, right. I think in normal times, you've done that as a industry, as professionals. But I think that especially now with COVID, like you said, their families don't have food, that are housing, don't have housing. Mm-hmm. You talked about, teaching them financial literacy skills, which is, mm-hmm. It really shows the holistic kind of, you're worrying about all the aspects of their lives. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit, do you give them like Zoom? Do you give them pamphlets? Like, tell me a little bit about like what that looks like for you.
Right. So we have I'm thankful to people who have donated to our school. We have a social worker on staff who works with the families, trying to help them, navigate the housing, situation.
Yeah, because all those systems are so they're so complicated.
They are. Oh. And so they, provide them information and try to help them with that, whatever their issue is at that moment. If they're having a parenting issue, my social worker can, offer to go into the home to help them with routines and structures as well at the home. So, it just won't be at the school, it'll happen at home as well. We also provide financial assistance. If I have a parent now that's in the hotel. We are working with her. So when she gets approved for her apartment, she will have the down payment to be able to move into the apartment. All of those things, you can help them, but they also, they need help as well to get to the next stepping point. I think it kind of relates. I have a passion for that because I kind of went through that myself, and I share with people. I had a daughter early. I had a daughter, my oldest, I had her in college. And so, of course, that was not the ideal at that point, but I'm thankful for the support of the community, my family, different programs that helped me. I was able to have a Section 8 voucher, if you will, and that helped me with housing for her. We had food stamps, and so that was allowed me to be able to, purchase food and, take care of her accordingly. We also had a voucher so that she could go to childcare while I was still in school. I was still enrolled in college to get my degree. And so I did all those things. Plus I worked part-time at a collections agency, I never forget. And so I think all of those programs coupled and different people pouring in helped me get to the next point. I believe if you give people help and opportunities and teach them, that they won't always stay there. They won't always be there, but you have to be able to pour into them and help them with different resources and programs so they can get to the next level. It is very difficult for people to even think day to day if they don't even have a place to truly live. You know, you're in a traumatic situation. You don't truly have somewhere to go when you're trying to raise children. You know, I've had moms living out of their cars, you know, and like, you know, I had no clue some of the times because they can still come in with a smile on their face to drop their children off, yet they are living in a traumatic experience. And so, you know, I encourage my families to get, you know, mental health guidance as well. Mental health is important right now, and especially important now with COVID. I've seen it come out a lot. So I encourage people, you know, talk to counselors. That's what they're trained to do. You know, it's not an embarrassment anymore. I mean, we have gone past that in life. It is quite normal, just like going to your doctor if you have a cough, you know, or have a chest congestion or anything, a cold. It is just quite normal. And so just encourage them to, you know, seek help, and, you know, we'll get past this. And my motto is dream, believe, achieve. Through God, all things are possible. And I believe that, you know, hey, they'll get through this, they'll look back and they'll be achieving well.
And you were a beneficiary of, you know, support of, you know, like you said, a voucher and not only like assistance in that form, but also community support. So you're proof that, you know, with a little bit of help. Yes. And that's what so many families need right now. They just, we need to help the families that need it. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful. What you just said. So now I want to talk a little bit about your work as a childcare provider. I think one of the things that parents or, you know, sometimes lawmakers don't understand is the cost, right? I think as a parent, and I see it from both sides. I'm a parent who has children in childcare, and I've also taken care of children. So, and I also understand that there's a minimum wage, and so I understand the cost of it, right? But you're a childcare provider and you look at the books. So tell us what you want people to know about the cost. And you mentioned earlier that, you know, the people that are teachers in your centers, that they are educated and you know, have master's degrees, but they're not making the wages that they should be making as, you know, educators, which it's early education. They are educators. So talk to us about the cost and about what you kind of want people to understand about the cost.
Yes, childcare, of course. Before I went into childcare, I was a mom. And so, you know, I went through some of the same things. It was very difficult to try to find affordable care. I remember as a mom, I was working, I thought a great job at that point in corporate America, married, my husband was working, but I remember, you know, I had twins and trying to pay childcare. I remember one Friday after I paid all the stuff, I think I only had $20 left for 2 weeks. And, you know, just became so discouraged, like, gosh, you know, you're doing all of this and, you know, and you don't have anything. And so then as I switched over to the childcare model and working in childcare and being an owner, I saw on the other side, the owners, they don't make the money either. It's like the money comes in, the little money comes in and it goes right out the door. It comes in the way you have to pay overhead, if you will, as far as if you're renting, leasing, the building where you're at, the upkeep. In North Carolina, I'm 5-star, so we have just certain materials and things that we have to keep. Thank you. Certain materials that we have to keep, you know, in good quality condition for the children.
Yes, absolutely.
And as an owner and provider, you want to provide the best for the children so you can have good quality learning outcomes. You want to provide materials for the teachers so that they can teach accordingly. You know, if you do anything less, I think that you're harming a child and their ability to learn. And so you're paying that. Then you have the staff payroll. So, you do have to be very competitive. Childcare, we have a shortage of teachers right now. So you do have to pay, a decent wage, if you will, but it's not a decent wage compared to their K through 12 counterparts. I have teachers making $10 or $12 an hour with associate's degrees, and whereas a counterpart in public school for TA might be making $30,000, where my teacher in childcare might only be making 15. And so it's, a big difference. Same thing with associates and bachelor's degrees. It's a humongous difference in the salaries that they make and the wages. And so after the school pays the salaries out, they pay the rent out, they collect on, the monies that's owed to them from families. I mean, you're really at a shoestring margin. I mean, it's really, I remember many times I didn't have anything left. Many times I had to put money in to try to even make it work. And I have, question, people say, well, why are you doing it if you're not making any money, And, I think that, God has given me this mission at this point to fulfill. When he moves me to the next area, then I'll move. But right now I have a mission to be able to provide quality service to children and families, try to provide a quality environment to teachers. And that is my goal right now. I know that, he always makes a way. And by the way of a grant program may come help, or a private donor just out of the blue has come and wanted to help teachers and families through materials or, monetary, what have you. And that's the only way we've been able to survive. But I have friends, like I said, who didn't have that, and they're closed right now. And so I am thankful. I'm very thankful. Thankful Thursday, if you will. Just thankful for that. But my heart does hurt for other providers. I have providers that I've known for years in the game that are, saying, they've been in here 25, 30 years and they're not even making any money, nothing right now, So you have to think on the flip side, if you're a business owner and you're putting your all into something, your money, your education, your strength, your expertise, and you're not making any money, you have to ask yourself, would it be worth it? Is it wise? No one would go to work and work for free, basically. Right. That's what you're doing. You're volunteering, versus you took your same brain power and went to another industry and you could make a lot more money. So people are really having to re-examine themselves,
Which is why there's a shortage of teachers.
Yeah, exactly. I've had a teacher recently who, I loved and adored, and she put in her notice because Amazon is paying $18 an hour. I can't hardly even match $18 an hour, and I don't want to see her go. So, trying to figure out what can we do to try to get her to stay, because she says she loves children. She's been working with children 20 years. This is what she loves, but then on the other side,
those are the teachers you want to keep, the teachers that love to,
Exactly. Teachers that love children, can pour into children, can just get right on their levels and work with them and teach them and guide them and encourage them and love them. That's what you need. You need those nurturers. You can't let them leave this field. I mean, you can't. We just can't. And so, it's like, the person could just go work at Amazon right up the street and get hired quickly and, make $15 to $18 an hour. I mean, you really have to say, what can this industry do to revitalize itself, change itself up now that we have gone through this pandemic? We saw the shortcomings. We saw, we've had it before, but it's just, been blown up right now, if you will. What can we do to change this whole model? We need to create a model that's affordable for families. I believe that all children deserve the opportunity to be educated at an early age. They're just like our K through 12 counterparts. They're just a little bit younger and they deserve to be educated as well. Their families deserve that. They're taxpayers as well. Children should have the opportunity to be educated. Our teachers, according to their education statistics say, data's already out there everywhere. I don't have to repeat it, but hey, if the teachers are educated, they can truly make better outcomes for children and families. So why can't we pay them a worthy wage? What can we do to try to revitalize this system right now? It needs a major structure change, so it can be beneficial to children and families for the later. And when I say for the later, we're in a pandemic right now. We're going to need these children to help carry us and our country for the future. They're going to be the ones taking care of me and you. We need them to be able to be very smart, caring, kind, nurturing, all these things that are taught in early childhood, how to be a team player, investigative, curious. We need them to find out before the next pandemic comes. We need them to be scientists and figure this thing out.
Cassandra, I'm not thinking that far ahead. Let's get out of this one first.
But we need them to be on top. We have to have them to be on top of their game to make sure that our country is taken care of, and that we are taken care of.
Yes, absolutely. All those things. So what do we do?
Yes.
So talk to me about your advocacy work. I know you mentioned that you do a lot of advocacy for like you mentioned healthcare, access to healthcare for teachers. So how do we move forward? Like what do you think as a provider? You've seen both sides.
Yes. I think it really is going to boil down to like a universal pre-K, universal preschool, universal early education platform, similar to the counterparts in K through 12. It's going to boil down to that, being able to get the funding needed to give the opportunity for all children and families to be able to go to school accordingly to early care and education. Also, it's going to boil down to getting the funding to be able to pay the teachers according to the educational pay scale. And so it's those things. It's really, I think it boils down to that. It's going to take a major structure change. It's going to take a lot of funding changes, if you will, from the legislators to make that happen.
And do you think that this is the moment?
I think
COVID has.
Yes, the time is now to make changes. Like I said, the Biden administration has really done a great job thus far trying to help families. I really respect his wife, First Lady Jill Biden. She's an educator as well, so she knows, she really truly understands the system. And I believe that as we begin to push that, they will see those things that are needed. It's already been in the plan, some universal preschool as well for 4-year-olds, but we need to take it down a notch and provide it to all children, birth up.
Yeah, I think we probably need to reimagine like birth to 12 or even birth to college, right? In my ideal world. Mm-hmm. And I know you're super busy and you're going to run, but I want to touch on one thing, which is childcare for children that have special needs. What does that look like? And what are the extra supports that children with special needs need? And what kind of is there legislation or is there extra support for childcare providers who provide that type of care?
No, it's a very delicate, difficult situation. It is very difficult even when you get into K through 12, but it's very difficult as well in early childhood. We were just talking to a family yesterday of a foster child who has special needs, and just trying to help them navigate to even start the therapy processes. And I've seen families that have children with special needs and say they're not on Medicaid and they can't even afford to try to get their child the help they need, for whatever it is they need help with, whether it's speech or OT, etc. And so it is very difficult to navigate. There's not a lot of funding in childcare. I've talked to other providers saying, gosh, we should have, just like K through 12 receives extra funding for special needs children, that childcare should as well, because it takes more. I've had to sometimes put extra teachers in classrooms to help support that child, and support that family. We've had to, do extra meetings, if you will, talking to the family, trying to give them extra resources, bringing therapists into the schools to try to help the children. And so it is not something for me, it's not cut and dry. And I really think the special needs families need extra support as well by the way of therapy and help, because it is difficult for them to manage. I've had many of them just, almost like cry to me, like, Miss Cassandra, they don't know, I don't know what else to do. They don't know what else to do. They're just like at their wits' end. And so we really do need to invest more in those families, invest more in those children, because it shouldn't have to be that hard. It really should not have to be this hard to try to get the therapy and seeing what their child needs help with. That's a whole process, for them to even get seen, to figure out what needs to be done. I've seen them be on long waits, like months, to get in to be evaluated. Like, what in the world? It doesn't take you months to get into your regular doctor to go get tested for high blood pressure or diabetes. It doesn't take you months. So why does it take months for the children to get evaluated if they need?
And that's really critical time too, especially right at that moment. Like, you want them to get access services as soon as possible.
Yes. And the parents, and usually by the time they're at that point, it is like, whoo, extra, just really out of control situation. They're just like, anybody that will help me, help me, please. And it shouldn't have to take that long to really get the children the help they need at an early age. I think if you whatever the regimen is the doctor gives, I tell parents, don't be afraid if it's medication or if it's therapy, try it and see what works best for your child, and don't be afraid about it. It's just like going to the doctor for any other medical condition you may have.
Okay, Cassandra, any final words?
No, I can say the only thing I can think is, when you ask what else I like to do, I advocate a lot for healthcare. Like Molly was in a meeting with me before. We talked. I have lost 2 teachers in the past due to the lack of healthcare, and that has really stuck with me. And even during this pandemic, I'm really pushing for increased healthcare for teachers. It's just the fact of the matter, they can't social distance now. They couldn't social distance before. They were probably already picking up flu and all of those things prior, but now it's more to the forefront with COVID-19. And I really believe they should receive healthcare. They should receive healthcare. They should have access to free healthcare so that they can take care of their bodies. No one should have to die and leave behind children and families because they didn't have access to a doctor to treat their high blood pressure. We just really shouldn't be at that point in the time right now. We should be far ahead. So I'm hoping that the legislators will see that, as we're, had a lot of people expire due to COVID-19, and a lot of deaths have taken place, that, we will really, really re-examine healthcare as well. A lot of people that passed away, of course, they had COVID-19, but they also had other underlying medical conditions. And probably if been treated, you just have to say, if a person had been treated, would they still be here?
Yes. And as a parent, I can tell you that in my advocacy, that is one of the points I always bring up. I've been having a lot of meetings on my state level with New York legislators. And that's one of the points that to me is really important to bring up, because I want the people that are taking care of my daughter to be healthy, right? And to be able to go to the doctor if they're not feeling well, and also to be able to stay home if they are sick, which is also a separate, paid sick leave. Because we shouldn't be forcing providers and teachers to make impossible decisions about whether they get a paycheck or whether they take care of their health. And you're right. We're way past to, taking care of everyone's health, I think.
That's right.
Yes, we have been on other panels together. You're fabulous. Cassandra, thank you so much for this conversation. And for all your advocacy. I admire you so much. And can you repeat the phrase that your motto?
Yes. Dream, believe, achieve. Through God, all things are possible.
Okay.
I've enjoyed this morning chat with you, Diana.
Thank
Anytime,
you so
call
much.
me. I would
Yes.
love to get with you again. You have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
too.
Take care. Bye.